If everyone will please take their seat and silence their cell phones, we're going to be starting in about 30 seconds. I was going to say, I was getting ready to start. It's 6 o'clock p.m. I'm going to call the council to order. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let's bow our heads, shall we? Dear kind Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity that we have to live in this great country, where we can engage in city government. Lord, we ask that you would guide our minds tonight as we deliberate the business of the city. May everything that we do and say tonight be in accordance with your will, is our prayer. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And now for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas flag. Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. You may be seated. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. This is our first meeting of the year 2024. It's January 4. I hope everybody had a good Christmas holiday and a good New Year's holiday. I'm going to go ahead and move to agenda item number 3, public comments. I have several yellow cards that have been completed, and I'm going to call them out by name in no particular order. You have 3 minutes that you can speak before council. And the first one is Jimmy Alcala. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm Jimmy Alcala. I've been here 15 months, moved in 15 months ago, and I thought I had done my due diligence as far as researching Keene, Texas, and I found out that I hadn't done my due diligence. In the 15 months, I've passed these roads, gone up and down these roads, and there's roads that are almost impassable. I'm talking about Hillcrest, Side Village, and 4th Street. 4th Street has a 20-mile-per-hour school zone. I don't think it's necessary because you can't drive over 20 miles an hour. And I'm hopefully you guys have been down these roads, but there's nothing been done. And but you have over here at the pond, there's a bridge that goes across and another basketball court. Unless those came from endowment money, I mean, it's just feel like it's very unnecessary. I think we need to set our priorities straight. The second thing, I know you don't have any liquor here, but you can go 4 miles this way and that way. And I know that the Seventh-day Adventist is against smoking, drinking, and coffee. But we sell all 2 of those except for liquor. So I would like to see a reconsideration of that somehow. Maybe put it to vote. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but it's not my job to tell somebody that they can't. So having said that, then you have these 2 smoke shops that really sell some paraphernalia that could actually be used for illegal drugs. But, we don't sell any alcohol. I mean, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to smoke, but I think we need to reconsider those things. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jimmy, for your
Yes,
comments.
if we could clarify one thing you said.
I was going to clarify the bridge and that, yeah, I was going to do that, Mr. Foster. Just so you know, Jimmy, the bridge that was done at the park, that is Calicut Park, and that is owned by Southwestern Adventist University.
Okay.
So that was actually done with grant money from the university, so it has nothing to do with the city.
Okay.
A lot of people think that that's our park. It's not. Our park is the one across the street, the Elisa Carver Park.
Right.
And just so you know, for the basketball that was just created, the new basketball court, that was done from our Type B board, and that was done from sales tax funds and not general fund, not general revenue. So that also, theirs is select to, I guess, how do you describe Type B? Yeah, it's specific to kind of like quality of life type projects,
Sure.
of which the park qualifies, and that's the reason why that was done. So that was done by the board, and it was, like I said, using sales tax funds. So just so you know, on the road repairs, I think all of the council, I can speak for us all, just to let you know, we do care about the roads. I have driven down 4th Street. I know exactly what you mean. You cannot go very fast because you're hitting a whole bunch of bumps, and you're just all over the place with your car. It's
Yeah.
happened to me too. And we did just get a $500,000 grant to fix part of Fairview Street. So we are trying to take initiatives, that all we can do to try to qualify for grants and to kind of make funds. And we did just create a street fund repair that we just put into place that now has, what, $75,000 in it? We've now put $75,000 of our funds aside from general revenue for street repairs, and we're working to try to get a bond in the next few years to try to do some major repairs with some of those streets that you mentioned.
Okay, thank
So
you.
just to let you know, but thank you, we hear you, and we appreciate you coming tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Did I say everything we need to say? Okay. All right, Wes Schramm.
West Schramm, 1002 West 4th Street in Keene here. I came here in 1969, the very first time, and when I was dating my wife, 4th Street was a caliche street. I had a brand-new sports car, and it was 5 miles an hour. And I'm happy to have pavement on our streets in Keene. Yes, they do need some repair. But more than that, really what I want to talk about was our first responders and the city employees. I appreciate them so much. They make our town safe and secure, and when we need them, they're right there to answer our calls. And I've not lived in another place where I have felt as, what should I say, is well protected and taken care of as what our first responders are here in Keene. And just accolades for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Wes. We agree. Thank you. Samantha Gillen.
Samantha Gillen, 218 West 4th Street. I cannot talk, but I am in agreement with something another person is going to say. And since I can't talk, if they don't have enough time, I want to give them my time.
All right, Bud Finley.
Secondary record for this city hall, which is totally unnecessary. It's my belief, Councilman Gutwood, that you're doing that, and Mayor, for nefarious reasons. There is no other reason to create a duplicate record. You've recently charged the city X amount of dollars because of a freedom of information request. But I happen to know you've given the same records to a party, and specifically Mr. Roberts, and he paid you nothing for it. Is that correct?
Mr. Finley, you need to address the chair, which is me, and not an individual
Okay.
council member. Thank you, sir.
I'll address who I want to address at this meeting, irregardless of what you say, Mayor. Now, the other reasons that this is wrong, morally and ethically, is very simply this. Because of the aforementioned reasons, and because of what you two are costing this city by this contrivance, think of it a minute. Your time, the council's time, the city secretary's time, the city manager's time, the city attorney's time, all for you to create a record that has basically been used out of context and nefarious reasons. In my math, that's getting to where about $1,000 an hour for you two to self-gratify whatever it is that you're doing. I've heard no talk about a documentary. I've heard no talk about usage of this particular secondary device for any reason whatsoever but your own free will. And your constituents are getting tired of footing the bill. Now let's add on to the cost of that the $5.3 million of city budget divided by 260 days of the year is about $20,500 a day that gets wasted on this type of stunt. And you should be ashamed of yourselves. Now, because of that, and because of the election results, and because I, as a voter, don't see a change in attitude, contribution, or anything else from either one of you, you're disappointing your own constituents, and because of that, I want to make a recommendation to the council. I want the council to take a majority vote on a Freedom of Information request, have the city obtain outside counsel, and if you refuse to give them everything that's asked, let's go to the courthouse. Let's put you two and Mr. Roberts under oath, and get to the bottom of all these false identities and all the havoc that you're creating that's costing the city a ton of money.
All right, thank you, Mr. Finley, for your
No,
comment.
I'm not done.
Your 3 minutes are up.
I'm not done.
Yes, there are, sir. Please
No,
have a
I'm not.
seat. I just timed you 3 minutes with my, yes,
so,
I just timed you
I'm
3
gonna
minutes
finish this.
with my hourglass, and you
Yeah,
may
I'm
please
gonna
have a
finish
seat.
this. You can
Mr.
keep
Finley, please
admonishing
have a
me all
seat.
you want,
Can
but I'm
somebody
gonna
turn off
finish.
the mic
As
for
a
the
council,
podium?
we can vote to hear out whatever he has to say, so I'm in favor of listening to him finish his remarks.
I understand, but we have a
It does-
3-minute timeline that's clearly indicated on our agenda sheets. I just timed him right now with this hourglass that has 3 minutes.
But as a council, we
I gave him
can,
multiple minutes past that. and
Maybe you're not
I'm asking him
listening.
to please sit down, his time is up.
as a council, we can vote to listen to Mr. Finley,
I'm asking for Mr. Finley to sit down. I'm the presiding officer of this meeting.
but we're the council.
I understand that, but
You
I'm the presiding
preside.
officer of this meeting.
Who's
His
in,
time is
like to
up.
make a motion
He
to
has made
hear
his
Mr.
point.
Finley out.
He has made his point, and he needs to take a seat.
We've got a motion on the floor in a second, Mayor.
I didn't call for a motion.
Okay,
I
I'm
made a
gonna go
Ask
motion.
ahead and
Mr.
finish.
Finley to take a seat.
I
All
made
right.
the motion, Mayor. There's a second on the floor.
Do you need me to call for a recess?
I think we do need a recess, please.
Yes, I'm calling for a recess at 6:13 PM.
Y'all are always ganging up on Mr. Thomas and, Mayor
Man.
Harris. Y'all need to leave me. You're out of order. Yes, you are. All of you. Mayor's out of line. No, it isn't.
You don't even know what's going on in there. You need to just be quiet back there. I'm telling you that now.
Excuse me, everyone. We are in recess, but I'm not an elected official. I would appreciate some decorum, so let's take a breather. Just hang on just a second. Just hang on just a second. to the whole path. So, we're in a movement here. I do know that.
You got something you wanna say to me? You got something you wanna say to me? Don't do that to me, okay? Yeah. Don't look at me and run your mouth. Cause I ain't the one, partner.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'll give you advice on that.
That's the problem with the council, people like you. You're the right? No, you don't look good. Did you hear what he said, right? It doesn't matter. What's wrong? You have been. No. But I do see it on the social media, what these guys do. They're all from the camera.
So this, the cameras are not social media, and this camera's only available.
It's on the website.
Well, the website.
All right, we watch it. We watch it on the
I give you my word, trust me, you're gonna find out you're dead wrong. As God is my witness.
We've got into it.
Where did you, I'm just trying to figure out, where did you get this?
In Burleson. And I've been in there, I've been before, Mayor Baldwin, if you remember Mayor Baldwin.
No, I don't.
You remember Mayor Baldwin, yeah. They used to play a lot of golf.
Broker to compromise.
Okay. Can I proceed, or?
We're still at recess, just a moment. All right. It is 6:20 PM. I'm going to call the council back to order. All right, Mr. Finley, we do not have a rule that says that a council can override the presiding officer as far as give a person longer than our typical 3 minutes that we've been averaging for each of these meetings. But out of consideration for you, I'm going to give you 1 minute to wrap up your conversation now that you've been forewarned that your time is over. And I'm going to start the timer on my phone and give you 1 minute to finish speaking. And then when I call the time, I'm going to ask you respectfully again to please take your seat, whether you're finished or not. Are we understand? Thank you, sir.
I don't agree, but I understand what you're saying. Okay, you guys are costing the city a bunch of money, and I think we need to file this Freedom of Information request. If you refuse to give it in total, because I happen to possess a report that shows your IP address, Mr. Roberts' IP address, and all the identities that you're using that you, Mayor, stood right here and lied to me about in this chamber. All right? So, let's get to the courthouse. Let's put everybody under oath, because this isn't going to change with you guys. The triaca that you put together, you either want someone else to run interference for you, and that's Mr. Roberts, and you either succeed to him your political futures, which is not very smart, all right, or you just don't care how much money you waste. So this is not going to get any better. Let's get to the courthouse, get you two and him, and wherever the trail leads, under oath, under discovery, with outside counsel. And you know what? If you refuse that part, you need to be sued personally, civilly, by this city to recover the costs that you have incurred for the taxpayer. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Please have a seat. Okay. Troy Smith?
I gotta adjust this because there's a huge height difference. Troy Smith, 310 Woodlawn Drive. Council, I came before you today because I wanted to talk about some previous comments that were made at the last council meeting. One of the things that we heard at the last council meeting is that nobody's telling me that I'm doing a good job. Nobody's telling me congratulations for things. Nobody's telling me that I'm not being appreciated. Well, if you're up there, it's a thankless job. So let's put that to rest right now, and council is on warning, and I'm not just talking about one person, I'm talking to everybody. Obviously, we already know who's the one who mentioned those things at the last council, but the bottom line is y'all work for us, and you all did this voluntarily for a reason, because one, you did it because you love this city. We have sat and listened to you guys year after year, and at these forums and on the microphones here that you're doing this for the city. So when you have comments that say that you want to, that you're looking for gratification, then you're doing this for the wrong reasons. And I should be talking to one person, but I'm just giving everybody the same notice that we're all watching. And when you say the word that you're looking for gratification, you're doing this for the wrong reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Bob Chapman?
Hi, how's everybody doing tonight? Bob Chapman, 529 Molly Lane, Keene, Texas. Been here a couple of years. The first thing I want to say is I was very, very taken by when we went to session there, a little time out, his reaction to how I'm looking at the council, just as, in general. Pretty aggressive looks, pretty aggressive stuff you did. So I want to bring that to attention to everybody, okay? Second thing I want to bring attention to is that I've been watching this for 2 years. I've been looking at everybody for 2 years. I don't know who's perfect and who's not perfect, okay? But what I do know is that when things seem lopsided and you start just bullying people and jumping on people, everything won't come out of their mouths perfectly, I assure you. They're in defense mode, just like you'd be. All of you, okay? So why don't we look at 23, 24, 25, moving on, and become a council that's a representative of all of us instead of a few of us or a few of our thoughts. Okay? You are here for the people. You're here for the people. But you get to sit there, and you have been there a long time because of the people that have been here. It's true. So just think about everybody. Don't think of yourselves. Don't think of your groups, your fellow citizens, other than the mass of the citizens, all right? That's what we're here for. And if I were sitting there, that's what I'd do for you. I wanted to come here. I wanted to get closer to you. I wanted to help out. Didn't work out. Rob beat me. I just want it to get better for everybody, okay? Sound good?
Thank you, Mr. Chapman.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's all I have for the yellow cards for public comments. Council, at this time, I would like to make a change in the agenda order. I would like us to go ahead and move to executive session, which is agenda item number 8. During this executive, we actually have someone here to interview for our city secretary candidate, and rather than make that candidate sit through a lengthy meeting, I thought that we would go ahead and adjourn at Mr. Batla's recommendation into executive, do that now, and then we'll come back and pick up with the rest of the meeting. Do I have any objections, council? Okay, at this time, I'm going to read off agenda item number 8, executive session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code. The city council may convene into executive session at any time during the meeting that a need arises for the city council to seek advice from the city attorney as to any posted item and by the following authority. A, Section 551.074, Personnel Matters, D. Martin, and B, Section 551.074, Personnel Matters, Interview of City Secretary Candidate. So at this time, we're going to adjourn into executive session. It is 6:28 p.m. Okay.
Thank you.
Then at this time, we're going to adjourn for item B, Section 551.074, Personnel Matters, Interview of City Secretary Candidate. All right, I'm going to reconvene the council at 7:34 PM. At this time, relating to item 7B on the agenda, no action is going to be taken. We're now going to go ahead and complete the executive session item, 8B, no action will be taken. We're going to go ahead and complete the executive session, 8A. And Mr. Martin has requested that we discuss this in open session as per his right. This is section 551.074, personnel matters. D. Martin.
Mayor, can we do item 5 and let these gentlemen?
Do we want to do that instead of executive session? Mr. Martin, are you okay with us waiting on your agenda item for a little bit? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we're going to, okay, you guys are going to get me so confused here on this thing. All right, we are going to jump to agenda item number 5, public hearing items. A, hold a public hearing to hear and discuss a change in zoning request from BW Gas Convenience Retail LLC for approximately 1.0710 acres, more or less, of land. Abstract 114, TR 15 BBB and CRRCO cause number 6395. BW Gas and Convenience Retail LLC is requesting the City of Keene to consider changing the current zoning from single-family 2, SF2, to commercial 2, which is C2. I'm going to call this public hearing open at 7:35 PM.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. BW Gas and Convenience plan to purchase several parcels of land on the corner of Highway 67 and South College. They want to build an approximately 5,640 square foot store with fuel pumps for autos and semi-tractor trailers. The properties where the store and fuel pumps will be located are zoned C2, and this is an allowable use for that particular zoning. This map, the first map that you have, kind of gives you an overall view of the city, and looking at that lot 521 South College is the one that we're asking to rezone from single-family 2 to C2 commercial. The next one gives you a little bit closer up view. The blue dot is the 521 South College that we're asking to be rezoned to C2. So that lighter colored green, all of that is already commercial C2. The darker green is single-family 2. Currently, the city has one small gas station with a convenience store on Old Betsy and Business 67. As our town grows, with the new housing developments coming in, this will help our town keep sales tax dollars in our city. Our city needs additional retail as the city continues to grow. This store will be a good anchor for this corner at a major traffic light location. There's additional acreage at the back of the property that in the future could house a restaurant or other commercial type businesses. To help relieve the burden of high property taxes on our citizens, we need additional sales tax revenue, and this would be a great asset to our town. In your packet, you should have several items in there. The recommendation letter that was held at the P&Z meeting back in October, their planning application, the tax certificates, the notices for the public hearings that were put in the paper, a copy of the letters that were mailed to anybody within 200 feet of the property in question, the location map, the comprehensive plan page, and the conceptual drawing, which there are 2 of, which are my next slides. So you can kind of see the area in blue is the property that they're asking to rezone. The rest of it is kind of what's currently there. So all that area in red is already zone commercial 2. They're asking to rezone that one. Mainly, that's just going to be their driveway. If you look at the next slide that I have, which is their conceptual plan. So you can see it's going to be a 5,600 square foot store with several gas fuel pumps with awnings in the front. Autos will only be allowed to enter off of 67. the semi-trucks or larger trucks are going to be required to go up South College and then turn right onto this 521 South College is what they're trying to get rezoned. Then they'll pull around the back if they need to, and there's parking for them to stop and go inside the store, refuel their bodies while they're refueling their vehicles. And if you have any questions, or the public has any questions, I have two gentlemen here from Atwell and Allsup's.
Is that for the gas station, Don? That property?
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that for that gas station on College in 67?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what they're looking toward. Yeah, they want to rezone that one lot that is currently
Okay.
zoned single
Just
family.
asking. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Don, I'm a little, just slight confusion about the verbiage in this, your presentation.
Okay,
Okay, it says, there is additional acreage at the back of the property that in the future could house a restaurant or other commercial-type business.
right.
Do they currently own that property, or is it just available for other?
I could let one of those gentlemen answer that question. You want to come on?
My name is Rick Hughes. I'm with Allsup's, the real estate manager. And if you look at the blue lot, that's a different owner than the property outlined in red.
Right.
In order to get that lot, we offered that owner some of the property on the north side of that blue line for some future development that they're going to do. So we're buying the entire property, but in order to get the one lot, we've given them some of the property on the north side.
Okay. So,
And
is that 509?
I don't have a pointer. I could probably walk over here
Okay,
and
if-
show you.
Yeah, that's fine. This doesn't work because it's
Okay, can
it's
you
a
put up
TV.
the other slide then?
Which one do you want? That one?
Yeah. Well, that's better. All right. The dotted line goes all the way up and higher than what shows on the screen. Comes around, there's two homes here, and then there's the home that we're requiring that we're trying to rezone.
The blue dot.
So in order to purchase that, we've given them that property back there. And they have plans to do a development in the future. Does that answer your question?
It does, but it raises one for me. How do they access it?
Access points?
Yeah, how will they access it? Because it looks like that they're landlocked.
No, they will have the two lots north of the blue dot property.
Oh, they own those as well?
They will own those. We're buying them, we're giving them to them.
Okay,
So they will have two lots of access there,
okay.
okay?
So they had 513 and 517 in the deal to access the area that's in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody from the public that would like to speak or have any questions. Go ahead, Ms. Gillen.
I'll try. Allsup is a great company, and I would like one thing, if they would see if they couldn't manage to get a grocery store in there with them. We could all be very thankful for that if they could do that for us.
Okay, thank you.
There is a market grocery component to the store, so although I wouldn't say it's a grocery store proper, there will be some fresh foods, some grocery type items that you can pick up on.
Don Beeson, 607 Woodlawn in Keene. I see my wife putting her head down. And I hate to say something bad about it in front of you guys, I had to be over in QT, and I apologize for saying that word, between Christmas and New Year's and picked up somebody over there. Man, you talk about people going in and out of a store. And I was just thinking about sales tax while I was looking for a parking place, which I didn't find. But, boy, that would be really an asset. I know there's some good and there's some bad with anything. But the good, I think, outweighs the bad in this case. And I certainly will tell you, as a citizen of Keene, I certainly think it'd be nice, and budget time, their sales tax would sure be nice, too.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Beeson. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:44 PM. And we're going to now jump with council's blessing to, let me find it here,
7C.
to agenda item 7, and we're going to go ahead and jump down to number C. Ordinance number 2024-667, rezone 521 South College from single-family 2 to commercial 2. All right, council, this is your opportunity if you have any more questions or to discuss this further.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-667 as presented by staff.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve ordinance number 2024-667 as presented by staff by Foster, and a second by Easley. Any further discussion on the motion?
Being Chucky.
I'm sorry?
Chucky, not easily.
I'm sorry, what did I say? Mr. Easley?
Easily, yeah. It's Chuck, I mean, yeah, it's Chucky, not easy. Oh, I thought you said Owen.
I'll use his last name. Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Motion is carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Welcome to
And
town.
get better soon. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump back up to the top here. Let them step out.
We're on 6.
Okay, agenda item number 4, reports. A, receive a report and hold a discussion regarding the city manager's report. Mr. Batla?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple things to report. I wanted to give you an update on Well 7 progress. We have been working on the plumbing to the filter system, so that is in the works, and we have we've received 2 bids for the filter system itself. We're waiting on one more bid, and still moving forward on that, so that should be relatively simple once we get the filter in and get that installed. So everything else is working. We just want to go ahead and give it that extra layer of filtration before we turn it back on, put it in the public water supply. So
Can you give us an approximate cost for the filter system?
we have one bid at $15,000 and one
so-
bid at $9,000.
Oh, so not prohibitive.
No. Any other questions on that?
Estimated timeline?
I'll have to shoot that back to Derek.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll try and get that as soon as possible.
I'm in that field of bidding and stuff, so I understand that.
Anything else on that? Okay, the other thing I had asked to discuss the potential EMS system update and the county contract for their EMS system. We were looking for a good time to have that. We talked about having a special meeting on that, a workshop, but I would like to go ahead and put that on the January 18th council meeting agenda, because there was not a lot of availability next week, and it was quick to get all those statistics and numbers. So I'd like to see if you'd be amenable to that. So,
That's fine with me. Council, you okay with it? Okay.
all right,
Go
that's
ahead
all I
and do
had.
that.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Batlow? Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 6, consent agenda. All items listed below have been previously discussed, require no deliberation, or are routine by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda for separate discussion by the city council. You may ask for that now. If a discussion is desired, then we will remove the item from the consent agenda and consider them separately. Otherwise, approval of the consent agenda authorizes the city manager to implement each item in accordance with the staff's recommendation. So under the consent, we have A, consider approval of city council minutes dated December 7, 2023. B, consider approval of city council minutes dated December 18, 2023. And C, consider approval of city council minutes dated December 21st, 2023. Council, do you have any of these that you would like to withdraw? If not, then you can make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agendas items as presented by staff.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda as presented by staff by Beeson and seconded by Gutwa. Any further, I guess there is no discussion, so all in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous, motion is carried. Agenda item number 7A, consider approval of resolution number 2024-436, appointing a charter review commission. I think Mr. Batla had something to present to this.
Yes, good evening again, Mayor and Council. Regarding the Charter Review Commission, this is actually step 2. After speaking with the city attorney a bit, we need to back up one step and figure out how we take applicants for the commission. So if you would, please review the resolution. That's what we would like to use to form the commission. But one thing I would suggest for the actual forming of the commission, we already have precedent for this. We already have this in place. It's our application for appointment to boards or commissions. So I could simply add the Charter Review Commission to this, and we can advertise, we can put it on our Facebook page, on our city website, etc., to get applicants for the Charter Review Commission, or I'll take whatever you'll tell me to do.
Did the city attorney give you any input on if we need to have a discussion item to discuss their qualifications to serve? As far as, does council need to discuss before they apply,
He didn't indicate anything.
like age, citizen status, location, residency of the city?
Yeah, so I didn't ask him about the residency. I talked to him about the residency in the city, and that's
Okay.
one. So this form does have that, not necessarily as a prerequisite, though.
Okay.
So that's something, if you want to add, I can take that back to him and get some clarification on that. But we didn't talk about qualifications other than,
I would like to see us have a discussion, I think, on their qualifications. And we make that decision and then advertise so that we can include those in the advertisement so people will know whether they meet them before they apply or not.
So these people apply to be on this commission, on this committee, or
Yeah, to create a fair and
not an
impartial system,
appointment by this?
we need to make sure that we do this in such a way that, yeah, we put out and let people apply. Then we bring those applications back to council and then let council decide on the number and who they would like to be on the board.
Well, I'm just curious what kind of qualifications we would want.
Yeah.
That's what I was just saying. Do you want them to be residents of the city of Keene or not be residents of the city of Keene? Do you want them to be from out of state? Who's going to serve? This council should make a decision if there's going to be any kind of requirements on that. Do you want them to be U.S. citizens?
Let's look at Mr. Schramm. I think he's a pretty sharp guy. He's not a U.S. citizen.
Because you're
He lives in-
choosing, I mean, we're
I'm
considering.
just saying, I don't know that we need to limit it, just me personally. I don't think we need to limit it to people who live in Keene. If they have an area of expertise that makes them qualified to serve, then by all means, but I also understand that
I
you're
think
going to,
that's what the application would tell us. We need to look at their education and their experience to see if they have an area of expertise.
maybe we should just ask them to send a resume rather than list the qualifications we want, just send in a resume.
Okay, Mayor, can I speak?
Go ahead.
Most cities, they have some requirements, and this helps a lot with the citizens' frustrations. I don't want to waste my 10 minutes, 5 minutes applying for something, and then when we have candidates up here, and then the issue of citizenship pops up, or say you don't live in the city limits and all that stuff, because we did not give the framework to show that we are fair in the process. We are not creating this charter to manage this city council that is here at the present. We are creating a charter that will be able to help the city to navigate challenges that are ahead of us for many years to come. Just look at the one we just created, 2014. It has taken a while before we get here. And remember, if you make it so much political, and the citizens are aware of that, you might as well have thrown taxpayers' money into a trash can, because you have to pay for the election for those items to be placed on the ballot. It's not free. So let's make it a fair process. Let the candidates who want to serve have a clear requirements. If citizenship is not required, let it be so. If there is some technical experience that is needed to help us so that we have a fair process, then you can say you have to have charter, maybe experience, or city attorney, whatever attorney kind of experience, a lawyer or something like that. Let it be black and white so that people know what they're getting into. Instead of getting up here and starting, we have seen how it plays out. Because of this, we do not select you. It doesn't look good. Make it clear so that we don't have to deal with those challenges when it comes to giving the candidates power to be able to perform their duties. Thank you.
Okay, so for clarification, step 1, discussion on qualifications and selection process. And that could be as early as the January 18 council meeting on that agenda. Step 2 would be application for appointment or whatever method you decide. Step 3, appoint a charter review commission. By the resolution that's in your packet.
So we just need to table this
Yes.
for this evening?
Yes.
And I move to table Resolution 2024-436 as presented by staff.
Second.
Who seconded it?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to table resolution number 2024-436 as presented by staff by Foster and seconded by Gutwa. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Motion is carried. All right, agenda item number 7B, discussion and presentation of draft city council code of procedure. Mr. Bala was going to talk to this too.
Yes, I would like to ask for this one to be tabled. I did not get this in time from the attorney. He had been on vacation with the holidays, and he was not able to get it for us in time for this council meeting for a draft review. So I'd like to table it and bring it back to you.
You need a motion for that. Make a motion to table the code of procedure as presented by staff.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to table city council code of procedure as presented by staff by Beeson and a second by Easley. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, motion is carried. Okay, we have already done agenda item number 7C, so now I'm going to move to agenda item number 7D. Discuss and take possible action on adding a seating and sidewalk area to the new basketball court.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. I gotta find my spot in the book. It's kind of hard to see, but, you know, we put a new basketball court in, but there's really no access to it other than walking across the grass when it rains, it gets muddy and stuff like that, or walking across the existing basketball court to the new court, which could interrupt the game if there's already a game going on. So B-Board asked me to go out and get some pricing from a local person. And this is what we kind of came up with. I don't know if you can see it on your map, but the new court is kind of in the blue, the larger area, and then running a sidewalk from the existing sidewalk kind of around the old court, and then making it big enough so in the future we could maybe put some tables or shade or something like that. The original price quote I got from our local contractor, Kevin, was 65, or, hold on, I think I got it in here. 6,500 for about 1,000 square feet, but B-Board asked if we could make it a little bit bigger, you know, to make it so you could have a picnic table or maybe some shade instead of just a sidewalk. So they approved not to exceed $10,000. So which would get us about 10,000 square feet. So a little bigger than what I actually have drawn on here.
Now, are we getting people different than this guy to bid, that we've been getting to bid?
I haven't gone out to anybody.
I'm sorry?
I have not gone out to another contractor, no,
We need
to get more bids.
giving it to one person, I believe.
And we can, but I have not found anybody local that can do it for the price that he's done on the sidewalks or any other projects that we've done.
Can I ask you a question? How are the rest of the repairs to the park coming along? Because I know Type B started this process last year. As far as I know, the tarps got fixed. Did they
Correct.
do any of the other repairs to the park, like the swing sets that were rusted, the broken trash cans?
They have not been done yet, no.
Okay. I'm just curious why this project of just adding sidewalk and kids can't walk across a few feet of grass became priority over some of the other repairs that were discussed a year ago.
Because painting a swing set is a little cosmetic. Walking across another basketball game that's in progress could cause issues, could start a fight. People walking across muddy grass, get on the basketball court, slip and fall. So that's why they chose this project.
Has the Type B board looked at the fact that the court, because it's facing sideways, a different direction than the other one, might have a hazard built into it where you have an open area in the middle, and that if a basketball were to go through that open area and bounce over that 3-foot chain link fence, it would go onto 2280 into the street?
It's a possibility. It could
They're
go
not
over a
concerned with
10-foot
kids
fence,
going
too.
out chasing a ball, getting hit by a car?
There's a little bit of separation there between the fence. There's about 6 feet between the court and the 3-foot high fence. And then that's where the lights that we just spoke with United Co-op are gonna go in between the basketball court and the street fence to shine that way. That way they're not shining on the street.
Is there a way that we could ever mitigate that?
I'm sure we could probably, if it became an issue, make the fence taller all the way across.
When would it become an issue? After somebody got hurt? Or after the first ball
After
went
we
into the
see
street?
a ball or somebody said, hey, my ball went across the street.
Okay. Well, I know, but you're jump shooting. Have you not played basketball? When you're shooting and you're jumping up in the air, that ball's already 3 feet over the ground. It could easily go over that chain link fence. It's just something I noticed as I was driving past, that it's the way they're designed with that open wall.
And the fence is over
open
10
fence,
feet
yeah.
tall in the area that they shoot in. It's the area in the middle of the court where they don't shoot from there is no
Yeah.
fence.
I'm just looking at safety down the road. We want to make sure that it's not going to cause an issue.
May I have a question?
Sure.
So, in general, I'm just asking out of the whole kind of project kind of concern. Why was this, I know in the new seating and sidewalk, why was this not included in the original project plan?
Partly because of the price at the time, when we had X amount of dollars to build the basketball court, and we exceeded that or came close to that cap that they put on it. Because of the price, it was presented to the public as a project, where this is, if we keep it under $10,000, it doesn't have to go out to the public as a project. So at the time, yes, they wanted to do some seating and some additional things, but when all the pricing and the quotes came back, that's all we could get was the basketball court, the hoops, and the fencing.
So what, maybe I might have missed it, was the whole project, you said maybe Part A, Part B, Part C, so we are doing another part of the project. Was this made clear that at a certain point we'll add this to the project at a later date, like as a combined kind of a process?
Well, with the park, it's kind of like a master plan that's always changing. So if that helps answer your question.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like on a master plan, somebody can say this is what we are projecting, like the pavilion. We had a different plan, and then it changed based on our budget. So we built a mini whatever pavilion. So I'm just saying, but having the whole project together and then presenting it and saying because of the cost, we are going to first do part 1, and then we'll move to part 2, and then finish with part 3, and then the whole project will be together, can be a little bit helpful. So that at least if I have a question, I can question that in the beginning of the project, and then adjust the project reasonably without kind of trying to, build in, in pieces. And then sometimes, council do come and go. And some of these, if this council might not like this idea, then it means the project, because it wasn't shown how we are going to accomplish the main big goal, becomes a problem. Then we have a half-baked project. Thank you.
Yeah, well, this basketball court, and if you want to get into it, was basically approved a few years ago to have it done, but with this turnover in staff and council and other areas, it kept getting pushed back, never got to that final step. So this was the way to get it to that final step was we got this money, we were approved for that money a couple years ago, let's build the basketball court. And that's what we could do at that time. So now it's like, okay, we need some seating, we need some sidewalks, so let's do that. So that's kind of how it happened.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to add a new seating and sidewalk area at the new court and for Kevin Cup to do the work, making the area for seating slightly larger and not to exceed $10,000.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to add a new seating and sidewalk area at the new court and for Kevin Koff to do the work, making the area for seating slightly larger and not to exceed $10,000 by Foster, and a second by Bells. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Motion is carried. No, Ray, did you vote against it? I'm sorry. You voted against? Okay. Sorry, I missed your hand. Okay. Motion is carried, 5-1. Okay, agenda item number 7E, discuss and take possible action on adding an applicant to the Type B EDC board.
In your package, I believe you should have had, hopefully, you had 2 applications. We had Gary Hendricks and Daniel Gathings. And at the last B-board meeting, they voted to have Daniel Gathings appointed to the B-board. Those are the only 2 applicants that we had. We had it advertised for, I believe, over 45 days. We do have openings on P and Z, but I reached out to Mr. Heinrich, and he said he was not interested in P and Z, only Type B board. But B board recommended that Daniel Gathings.
I didn't see a copy of the applicant in our packet. Did we have one for the recommendation? No.
I can go get those for you if you want to move to another agenda item. I believe I have them on my desk. I thought they were in the packet, and I apologize. The B board recommended that Daniel Gathings out of the 2 applicants. Nothing against former Mayor Heinrich.
Do you have a copy of the applicant?
I can go get them on my desk. Like I said, if you want to go to another item and come back to this one, and will I go do that?
Council, is that okay with you?
If the B board recommended the Mr. Gathens, then I would think it would only be right that we vote him in.
I would just like to see the applicant, the application. since it wasn't included.
It's up to you.
So we
Any
make
other
a motion,
council would like to see the application?
so do we make a motion to table it, or we just go pause?
I think we can just kind of come back to this, we can kind of
Circle
temporarily,
back?
yeah,
Okay.
table it or come back
Well,
to
we
it.
circle back to it in later minutes. We can go to the city attorney issue.
All right, if you'll go ahead and retrieve that, Mr. Martin, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Okay, agenda item number.
7 copies, please.
We're going to go ahead and move to agenda item number 7F, and then we're going to come back to agenda item number 7E. 7F, discussion and take possible action on city attorney services.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. I have talked with several different local firms that specialize in city attorney services, and we found one that was, had availability for our council meeting night as Brown and Hoffmeister. I believe they've been our attorneys before. And so I would suggest their rate is considerably higher than our current city attorney. So I would suggest that if you wanted to have an attorney present at council meetings, that we could use Brown and Hoffmeister for council meetings and continue to use Pat Chesser for our other city items. And I did speak with him on this. You know, that's not uncommon. But, you know, as you know, Pat Chesser is not available for our current council meeting times and dates. So that is an option if you would like to move forward with that. We do have it in budget to be able to have an attorney at the council meeting. We may have to do a little bit of a mid-year amendment because it is much more expensive, the hourly rate, but we may have some savings throughout the first half of the year anyway through lack of using an attorney. So, happy to answer any questions or take your suggestions on moving forward or not with Brown and Hoffmeister. They could be here each meeting. We could have them every other meeting, but they would still need to be available, just like tonight. You know, it's nice to be able to get a hold of. It's up to you.
Okay.
Is Pat available on Tuesday night? Or I know at one time we had conflict with the staff or the council on Tuesday nights. Is that still a conflict for everyone? Tuesday or Wednesday?
It seems like we had conflicts no matter when we moved between Pat's schedule, council's schedule. We could not find more than basically one council meeting date per month with Pat, whether it was a council conflict schedule or his schedule conflict. So
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is that still an issue with council? Tuesday or Wednesday night?
Tuesday is pretty full for me most nights. We had talked one time about changing instead of the first and third, go the second and fourth. So
It's all the same to me. Would that work with everybody? 2 and 4?
he's only available on the 4th, I believe.
Okay. What about Wednesday night?
Wednesday's prayer meeting.
I know.
I don't believe he had
Yeah, Wednesday's
availability.
prayer meeting.
If we're open at 6 and we're done by 7, we'll be,
Okay, got it.
So if we moved it to the 2nd and the 4th, he's available for one meeting a month.
That's correct.
I think we need to try that and see if that alleviates our problems before we start spending more
We'd always have a
money.
conflict at Thanksgiving, because that would always be the fourth Thursday of the month in
That's only one.
November. So we'd have to always cancel that meeting or reschedule it.
May I have
Go ahead, Mr.
something to say? So I think in the previous meeting, I thought we came to an agreement that we can have some of the issues that we have to go through the attorney for an opinion and schedule those items and then invite the attorney when he's available for everybody to be able to go through those items. And because of the cost and the size of our budget. And then another question is, having two attorneys, I don't know how other cities that are size of our city, I don't know how they normally handle that kind of arrangement. And the reason why I'm saying that is when you have two city attorneys for a small city, sometimes if there's communication breakdown between the attorneys, it tends to create confusion, because when we are in a meeting here and you ask city attorney and say, hey, is it okay for us to do this and this? What they are actually saying, I can defend that in court, whether they will lose or win, that's one thing. So another question is, who will defend the decision? For example, we have a second attorney. Is it the city attorney or the attorney that will be at the meeting?
No, if Brown was here, he would be over that. So that would be separate. So, for example, Chesser Law Firm, he handles all of our daily operations, questions, our resolutions, ordinances, agreements, etc. So we could continue to use him, and that's not uncommon. I know in Burleson that's what we had.
Thank you.
Obviously, they're a bigger city, but it's not it's not really in conflict.
Thank you. And then another thing is, you did say that this attorney, if you were to go with another attorney, that the cost will be different.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at?
$255 an hour versus $150.
And Mr. Goodwin, the attorneys deal with law, not opinions.
Well, our city charter, though, is actually subject to the interpretation of the city attorney. So it can be based on his opinion of the law and his interpretation of the law. That's the question. That's what we're trying to decide, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not understanding why we would need two lawyers.
My understanding is council wants and needs an attorney here at council meetings. Pat Chesser's availability is very, very limited. We've tried multiple times to come up with different dates and times for council meetings that doesn't work for either council or Pat. So I'm just simply giving you another option, so. That's it. Yeah.
And then I have,
Go ahead.
and then I have a general question here. I know getting the counsel or advice from the attorney is a good thing. But we know that our current city attorney does review almost every single item that is in front of us. And he spends a lot of time doing that. And for many years, we have done that for many years. So is this something new, or have we been in this situation in the past from previous city, mayors, council? I'm asking from the point of view of the cost, because I'm being asked about the cost.
Reviewing of everything?
Like requiring a city attorney to be at every single meeting.
I don't know what was done in the past. Everywhere I've ever worked, there's a city attorney there, and I've never seen one not at councils.
I'm just talking about the Keene. I've been in some of the meetings, and some of the meetings we do normally run without the city attorney.
Yeah.
And what has changed now that we want to add the cost, that's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, that's up to y'all. You know, we frequently run into these stalemates where we have to take recesses and need legal counsel, so I don't know.
In an effort to move this along, I make a motion that we move the city council meetings to Tuesday and Thursday so we can get Pat Chesser here for one meeting a month.
I think we'd have to put that on a future meeting and have another discussion item on that. This one is just simply to discuss and take action on the city attorney services.
That would be
But we,
the city
but we can
attorney
put
service.
that, we can put that on the next meeting to discuss the changing of our dates.
We've discussed that before. No, whatever.
And that's why, Mayor, please, I'm just asking for this. And that's why I mentioned earlier, I said in the past, we discussed about the city attorney. We said, why can't we get those items that are controversial, put them in one meeting, even though the city attorney will go through them before even that meeting, and then get the process going. And I thought we agreed, and now there's another push that we have to have the city attorney every single meeting. So, and I'm talking about the cost, because I'm being asked out there, like, so you guys have extra money that you're going to spend on the attorney that we have not been spending for all these years? So that's a concern, so as you consider this.
Mr. Gutwa, I think, and I'll ask Mrs. Schramm about this, but when the other attorneys, the Brown and Hoffmeister, was our attorneys, they were at the council meetings every week when we had, I thought so. So, see, it's not something new to Keene. We've gotten away from it the last few years, but in the past, the attorney has been present. So,
I'd like to make a motion, but we have a motion on the floor.
His motion was out of order because it doesn't follow the agenda item. So you can make a new motion.
Make a motion to retain our current attorney, Pat Chesser, on our normal day-to-day activities and employ Brown and Hoffmeister to attend our meetings at the regular scheduled times.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, I get this right, to retain our current attorney, Pat Chesser, on the day-to-day, what did you say, activities of the city. And to go ahead and retain Brown and Hausmeister to attend our meetings on the first and the third Thursday.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay?
All these.
I'm sorry, we have a motion on the floor, and did we have a second? You had a second? Okay. There'll be no further discussion by the public. I'm sorry, we have a motion on the floor in a second. I'm just writing it down. Okay. We have a motion on the floor to retain the current attorney, Pat Chesser, on the day-to-day activities of the city and to retain Brown and Hoffmeister to attend the first and third meetings of the month by Bells and a second by Foster. Any first and third Thursday, what did I say? First and meetings, okay, first and third Thursdays, thank you. See, that's why I'm writing this down too fast. To retain Brown and Hoffmeister to attend the first and third Thursdays of the month for our regular council meetings. Okay, we have a motion by Bells and a second by Foster. Any further discussion on this motion? All in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed? Motion is carried, 5-1. Gutwa against. Okay, agenda item number 7G. Consider approval of awarding a contract to Kevin Koff for the construction of additional sidewalks in the amount of $21,702. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have went back to 7E, but we'll do that one in a minute.
That's fine. Okay. You should have a staff report in your, if I can find mine. Basically, we started out with $230,000, and we went down Eastern a ways, and we went up 4th Street a ways, and then we had some leftover money, and we continued down Eastern. And at the last meeting, a couple meetings ago, we talked about having about $45,000 left over, but where we're at on Eastern was gonna take the engineering of a bridge and probably eat up a good chunk of that money. So we talked about possibly going up 4th Street. So I had Kevin, who's been doing our other sidewalks, give me a price to go from Spruce to Gale Lane. And on the map, you can see it's about 200 feet to do that. And that price was about $20,000, $21,000 with 2 ADA ramps. And then I also had him give me a price to go from Gale Lane up to Fairview, which you can see on the map is a little bit farther, almost double, over 500 feet, I believe. And that price was about $43,000 to do that. So my recommendation now would be to, let's continue going up 4th Street and do that little section for $21,702.
And then what do you plan to do with the rest of the money?
I haven't got a price from our engineers yet, but I would imagine our engineers would probably cost us about $7,000 just to engineer the bridge.
So that would leave us a,
Yes. There's a lot to it. There's a sewer line there. It's pretty wide. You can't do it like right at the sidewalk. You're gonna have to go back a little ways, so that bridge is gonna have to be wide enough, and it's gonna have supports where water's gonna go underneath it.
That's a big deal right there, that bridge, yeah.
It is. So we're just trying to do this in little pieces, and every little bit helps. And then if we have some leftover money, then maybe we could spend what's left out of the, the 20,000, then go ahead and get some engineering, and then by that time, we'll be close to next year's budget, and we can budget some more money. Or we may have some leftover money somewhere else, as some of these other projects that aren't finished yet.
We can get more grants for that or nothing?
We can look into getting the Safe Route to Schools grant again with the school, but that takes time.
No, I know that, I just
Right.
thought I'd bring it up and ask.
So we're looking at a lot of different things. B-Board has also looked at possibly continuing and going up Pecan, like I kind of mentioned a couple of meetings ago, but you're looking at $500,000 to do all that, just because of engineering and moving utilities and things of that nature. So we're just trying to take little baby steps and make some progress.
so from our previous discussion, we were looking at going up to Fairview and stopping, or we were looking at going up to South College and stopping? Because you said after that, the water lines needed to be upgraded, so we didn't want to redo the sidewalks if we were going to have to redo the roads.
Along 4th Street or?
On 4th Street, I'm sorry. Yeah, on 4th Street.
Yeah, there's some architectural challenges, I guess. Once you go past 4th Street, they're a little bit narrower. There's not a lot of right-of-way there. There's some of those, especially when you get all the way to South College, you have those, I believe it's a duplex that's right on the corner right there. Has a pretty steep driveway. Their driveway is really, the setback is only 20 feet, and then you go trying to make a sidewalk flat, and then a 10-foot driveway, so there's gonna be some challenges in
So
those
really, right
areas.
now, this is as far as we can probably get on 4th Street. up
Right,
to
with
where
the money
Fairview
that we had
intersects.
budgeted previously.
So if we spend the money tonight to approve $21,702 to get us to Gale Street,
Right.
then we need another $43,000 that would take us to Fairview. And we're
Right.
gonna end up with a balance of $23,679.50. So what we're gonna lack to get all the way to Fairview would be $19,970.50.
Right, so we could
maybe
either go
could
part
council
way
look
up.
at that as coming up with that money, maybe out of some other fund or the general
Right.
fund, if we did want to do that and
Right.
take it all the way up. We just
Well, we
need
can-
another 20 grand.
I can come back to you with some other options, but right now, this
Okay.
is a way to keep the progress going.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the expansion of the sidewalk on East Fourth Street from Spruce to Gale Lane with Kevin Cup in the amount of $21,702.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the expansion of sidewalk from East Fourth Street from Spruce to Gale Lane with Kevin Koff in the amount of $21,702 by Foster and a second by Bells. Any further discussion on the motion?
Are we just, my question is, and I keep bringing it up, are we just getting one bid?
Yeah.
Are we just getting one bid on these jobs, or are you just picking this guy?
On some of these smaller jobs, yes, we just usually go with somebody that's been doing work for me for years, that has a very reasonable price. I know he's cheaper than other people that I've gone to bids for. Larger projects, yes, then we get into the procurement laws and we have to go out for bids. But in a case like this, we don't have to. I can, but it's time consuming, and we're just trying to move in the right direction.
Okay.
Just like the other issue we were talking about with the well 7, we've only got 2 bids and we need to get 3, and we've been waiting a month and a half for that. So just trying to give you options that, let's keep
I
going.
just don't like we're just getting somebody that local, and nobody looking at other bids. That's my problem. I mean, I got a business. I think it's fair for everybody to get a chance to do something. That's the way I look at that deal.
And I understand that, and we have in the past, we've gone to other concrete contractors, and nobody can come close to what he can do concrete work for me.
I got you. I understand what you're saying. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions on the motion? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to jump back to agenda item number 7E, discuss and take possible action on adding applicant to the Type B EDC board.
So you should have the 2 applications in front of you now. I apologize for that. I thought they were in the packet.
I have a question, Don.
Sure.
Is it out of the question to appoint alternates?
I don't think I think the only one that's allowed to have an alternate, according to their bylaws, is the P&Z Commission at this time. I can look into that, but I don't think there is.
Okay.
It's allowed.
Well, we have openings for extended period of time at certain times, and we've got 2 very qualified people here.
Right.
You know, we don't need to let them get away if we can put them as an alternate. Maybe you could check on it.
Yeah, from what I've read, I haven't delved 100% into it, but I know their bylaws said they don't list as an alternate, and they just said X amount of board members. Whereas P&Z lists X amount of board members and an alternate. So their bylaws would have to be changed in order to do that.
Mr. Martin, how come these 2 forms are completely different?
I believe one was online and the other one was given to him in person. I'm not the city secretary, so I
Okay.
can't answer that question for you.
Maybe we could get a city secretary to answer it.
We need one first.
So Daniel applied back in September of last year. Is he still interested,
Yes.
even though this is an older application?
Yes, and Dr. Stevens highly recommended him, knows him. I guess he's been trying to get on the school board for a long time, but they just haven't had an opening. So that's why he kind of recommended and thought he would be a good person for this.
So one of the questions at the meeting of the boards was the prerequisite that he would be able to attend the meetings. Did we determine that?
I can't answer that right now, to be honest with you. I don't remember. I did not personally. I don't know if they did. I've had a few things to do.
If he was here, we could ask that question. Is he here?
Mr. Smith, would you like to step forward?
You are correct. That question was asked, and it was answered by Dr. Stevens, who said that yes, he would commit to every meeting. And because Dr. Stevens knows him so well, he commits to just about everything that the school does. So that was another vouching for Mr. Gathings to be able to be here. So, yes.
All right, so which applicant are they recommending?
Mr. Gathings.
Mr.
Daniel
Gathings? Okay. Because it's not listed in the staff report. Okay.
They're
It
not
is?
even
Where?
thinking about Gary, huh?
It just says staff would recommend the city council consider the Type B EDC's board's recommendation and appoint the most qualified candidate to serve. Oh, okay, I see it down there at the bottom. Okay, recommend Daniel. I missed that sentence. All right, council, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Daniel Gathings to the Type B EDC board.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to appoint Daniel Gathings to the Type B EDC board by Beeson and a second by Gutwa. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed? Those abstain?
Oh.
Are you abstaining? Okay, motion is carried.
Thank you. Thank you. We're caught up, right? I can go sit down.
Thank you.
Don't leave.
Okay. You guys jumped me around so much, but I think we're back to the end. Okay, we're going to now do agenda item number 8. This has been requested to be in open session, and this is section 551.074 personnel matters. Don Martin. Mr. Batla, do you have anything, any statement of this item being on the agenda?
No, I was just asked to put this on the agenda regarding
Okay.
Don's actions on the, I believe it was last council meeting. Don, if you'd like to take the podium. If you'd like to say anything, feel free.
I guess my question is why? Why are we here? Why are we talking about this? Or what are we talking about?
All right, Mr. Martin, I'll go ahead and do a brief statement.
Okay.
I've worked with you now for quite a while, and of course, you know, as interim city manager, I promoted you to the position that you're in now, which is assistant city manager. I'm sorry, is that funny? And so, I have expressed some concerns regarding your professionalism and your conduct to the city manager, and I think that's why this item is now on the agenda tonight. And I've also received complaints from Councilman Gutwa and from a citizen, Tatiana Romanova, regarding your conduct during meetings. So just so that we're all going to get this out on the table and be open and transparent and honest, I'm just going to read to you a brief summary of the complaints against you that have been filed.
Okay.
And then I'll allow you to address them. So on June 6, 2023.
Mayor, may I make a comment, please?
I'm sorry, what?
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
I need to read you from the charter
Okay?
that says appointments and removals. Neither the city council nor any of its members, which shall include the mayor, shall in any manner, I'll repeat, any manner dictate the appointment or removal of any city administrative officer or employee who the city manager or any of his subordinates are empowered to appoint. You're breaking the charter.
I'm not talking about removing him.
It's
from-
not up to you to decide, it's up to the council to decide if you're breaking the charter. You're breaking the charter.
In what way? We're talking about complaints that have been filed, and he's asked for this to be an
These
open
complaints
session.
I
go to
don't,
the city
I don't want to be a part of this.
These
I will
complaints need to go to the
excuse
city
myself
manager.
if you proceed.
I'm just asking you.
I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to break the charter like you're doing.
I'm not breaking the charter.
I don't want to be a part of it.
I have in no way asked for Mr. Martin's removal from his position.
These complaints need to go to the city manager, and the city manager needs to take care of it. End of story.
I think that's why it was put on the agenda for the executive session.
Who requested that?
Who requested what?
That it was on the agenda?
I did. I requested that we talk about some complaints
That's
that
the
have been
violation
filed
of charter,
with the city manager.
but that's the violation. You
It's
asked
not
for
a
it to be on the,
violation to talk about it.
In any manner, do you not understand? Obviously not.
You guys have put me on the agenda in executive session to talk about me. It's under the same realm that we're talking about Mr. Martin.
no, it's not. No, it's not. You are not explicitly taken out of that charter. He's taken out of it by the charter.
To be discussed in executive session, and has his right per the Texas Government Code, he can ask to discuss this in open session.
It's not the way not the way the charter reads.
You want to continue breaking the charter?
How would you guys like to handle this?
End it here, now. Right now.
End here what?
End this. Stop.
Not have a discussion?
Move on.
Okay.
Am I excused?
I guess so.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 9. We do not need to reconvene. Agenda item number 10, request for future items on the agenda. Council? You have some items for the future items?
I keep asking every now and again about some kind of an ordinance for short-term rentals, but I haven't seen anything. Are we still working on that?
Yeah, that's a tough animal to crack at the moment. I have not had any time at all to do that, and I would ask that we look at that in a few months, if you don't mind. I can't do it yeah. So,
In relation to that, let's remember that he's doing the city secretary's job and HR right now, and city manager.
Well, I will say, on short-term rentals, one of the problems is someone has to enforce whatever we decide. So, whatever we do. So, anyway, can't get into it, it's not on, but I will get that to you.
I'm not in a fizz about it, but something that I want to keep top of mind because it is going to be, or potentially could be an issue down the road with all these new homes coming.
Luckily, we just went through that about 6 months ago with Horseshoe Bay, so I have a good resource with that. So I will try to tap into that and get that moving forward. But that is a tough one to crack. So.
Well, get on the ball, brother. That's what I'm telling you. Get on the ball.
Mayor, on the same note, I know it's a very hot issue because it normally involves property rights and all that stuff. So is it possible to have the citizens who are actually at the moment participating in that process, the short-term rentals, what will they want as the city of Keene, living within the city limits, what will they want from the city as kind of, you are helping them to be able to conduct the services within the city limits. How will they want it to be conducted so that we don't deal with a lot of inconsistencies? And will that call for an open hearing whereby we can have public kind of maybe gathering whereby they can come together and discuss, and then we can be able to go through that process? Or
Yeah, that could certainly be part of it. It's up to y'all. But I don't see any reason we couldn't.
Anything else, council? If there's no further business, meeting is adjourned at 8:43 PM.
Thank you.